The NDP government claims to be trying to make post-secondary education more affordable. But affordability should not come at the expense of the quality of the education received at any of our fine post-secondary institutions here in Alberta. Paying less for an inferior product is not affordability, Mr. Speaker. So, to the Minister of Advanced Education, will your ministry be providing additional funding to post-secondary institutions to offset the cost of the tuition freeze? And if so, when will this funding be announced, sir?
Minister of Advanced Education.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And of course, our government values providing high-quality education at a low cost, unlike what the PC government did when they were in power, Mr. Speaker, offering a 2% increase in 2013 and providing them a 7% cut, Mr. Speaker. That's not the way this government operates. We will be providing predictable funding to institutions going forward. There will be no surprises in the budget, and governments can count, or institutions can count on what we're telling them as far as their operating grants go.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very happy to table page 17 of our last budget, which indicated starting 2015 and every year forward, we actually had increases every single year, and no mention of a carbon tax. But on to the question. Given that the President of the U of A recently described the tuition freeze... Shall I continue, sir? Thank you. Given that the President of the U of A recently described the tuition freeze without offsetting as a cut, a simple and pure cut to programs, and given that this seems to indicate temporarily decreasing the cost of one academic year is more important to the NDP than the quality of instruction, to the Minister, how do you intend to address these concerns that a continued freeze with
Member, Minister of Advanced Education, Honourable Member. Honourable Member, please sit when I stand. Thank you. Minister of Advanced Education.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure which budget the honourable member is referring to, Mr. Speaker, because the budget that the Prentice government brought down was scheduled to make a 4% cut to post-secondary education this year and continued cuts last year, Mr. Speaker. And in fact, that's a time-honoured tradition of the PC government. I spoke to Jim Dinning not 2 months ago, and he said that when he was finance minister, Mr. Speaker, that they cut post-secondary education funding. So if this government wants to support post-secondary education in the future, they should vote for our budget in the spring, Mr. Speaker.
Second supplement.
As mentioned, Mr. Speaker, happy to table that document that proves him wrong. Given that there are concerns that Alberta's post-secondary institutions may increase tuition in one big jump as opposed to the gradual increase we would likely have seen if there had been no tuition freeze, and the President of Grant MacEwan likened the freeze to being stoned to death with popcorn, and given that post-secondary students are concerned that a temporary 3-year reprieve from tuition increases may be nullified by large increases when the freeze ends, again to the Minister, how do you intend to provide quality education at an affordable price when your tuition freeze inevitably ends?
The Honourable Minister.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And, you know, the member from Calgary-Lougheed is quite right to highlight the fact that our tuition freeze will end in the 2018-2019 academic year. And that's why we've launched our tuition review consultation, and I encourage all members of the House to go back to their constituencies, encourage their citizens to go to tuitionreview.alberta.ca to share their views on what tuition for post-secondary education should look like in the future, Mr. Speaker, because this government is committed to providing high-quality education at an affordable price for all the people of Alberta, Mr. Speaker.